All right, we're in business. Not much.
No
Sorry for
problem.
that.
All right, we got the lawn care god in the room. I need some wisdom, man. I need some wisdom.
Cool, man. Well, give me a little context, kind of like what you've been up to and things like that. I know I
Right.
read your form and everything.
So I'm 22 years old. I went to college for like, I don't know, 2 weeks. And I was like, that's not for me. And then I worked at Verizon, got into sales. And then I never wanted to have a boss. I didn't like people tell me what to do. So I called my former boss. I used to cut grass in high school. I said, I just want to start a lawn care company up. He said, oh, I was like, I'm going to buy, $1,000 truck and trailer, go real low budget. He said, just finance everything for me. I said, say less. So we wrote up a contract. It was worth $25,000. Gave me a box truck, a stand-on John Deere lawnmower, the blower, edger. We whip everything, all the essentials, right? And then I paid that off in a year. And the following year, which was last year, I did 70K in revenue. And now I wanted to contact you because you'll be able to tell me kind of the roadmap that I should be going on. What revenue goal should I look forward to? Should I hire 2 employees, an employee? Should I still solo and try to make as much cash that way? Should I go for more landscaping? That's basically what I'm here for.
Okay, cool. So do you pay off that debt to him though, right?
There's no debt. I run the business out of my house. So the overhead is, there's no overhead. I just have to pay the insurance on the truck, which is $280 a month. And then, the weekly revenue is $2,050. What else? That's it. Oh, I have 7K in cash. I could get another 2K in cash. And then I have 2 mowers, stand-down mowers, 1 push mower, and then I'm thinking about buying another walk behind.
Okay.
The average cut price around my area is $25, and it'll probably take 20 minutes for 1 person to cut. The houses in my area are really close together. It's like a Metro Detroit. I'm not sure. I don't think it's like where you're at, because you said you start at 60. I do have an area where I cut where the prices are higher. It's a wealthier area. I'm not sure if I should go for those types of customers because the average customer value would be higher due to the leaf cleanups. You can make your money on the leaf cleanups. Yeah. What do you think?
Cool. So, your thoughts on the walk behind?
Right. Oh yeah.
Were you gonna finance that, or are you going to?
Yeah. So my thoughts on the walk behind. Right. I was gonna buy the walk behind. I was gonna have 1 crew go out with 2 people, and I was gonna use another truck. I have 2 trucks right now. I just bought one yesterday, and I was gonna put the ramps on the back and use the walk behind, and I'll go and cut 50 houses while they cut the 75. And then I was going to obviously try to get more accounts this year. Maybe they could do 125 accounts, 100 accounts max. And then I would do 50 just so I can, keep increasing the revenue. And then once I had more cash, I could buy a trailer. And then, do you see what I'm envisioning?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. So the question is, so not last year, but the year before, what'd you do in revenue then?
I'm not sure. It probably was around the same because I did not grow at all.
Okay. So what are you going to do differently this year that's going to allow you to grow in terms of just getting new customers?
Door hangers. And I was thinking about if I had to, door to door. I'm not afraid to go door to door and try to get service that way. But I was honestly thinking like just to put out 20,000 door hangers, me and my girlfriend could do it all day. I could go out 8 hours a day, 9 hours, and just go door to door. The houses are so close. I could do 1,000 a day.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I was about, alluding, getting to, and that is the fact that you have enough equipment right now to do well over 200,000 in revenue. in
Okay.
terms of, 2 trucks, 2 stand-ons, a push mower. Like, I would recommend not getting the walk behind.
Okay.
Any dollar right now spent on equipment would better be spent on marketing, in my opinion, even if it is door hangers.
Mhm.
And, because you don't have like tons of cash, if you're able to do the door hangers, that'd be great. But like, if
Yeah.
you're okay with talking to people,
Yeah.
we have, Nick, the guy who just started a franchise down in Marysville and worked for us for a couple years. He's 21, I think.
Right.
And he actually, like, he was not afraid to knock on doors either and
Yeah.
talk to them, not just do
Right.
the door hangers.
Right.
And you can really use kind of your age and all of that to get good, a lot of clients. You're
Right.
not going to be able to do 1,000 a day. You might only get
Yeah.
100 done. But if you talk to 15 of them and 5 of them become customers, like, that's worth it, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so I would really say, like, if you are willing to talk to people and just like not make it a sales pitch, but introduce yourself. Hey, I'm in local to the area. If you ever need something, let me know. And then
Right.
what you do, if you strike up a conversation, or if you get the estimate, if you get them an estimate,
Yeah.
this is something that he's been doing the past few days with a lot of success. And that is, you give them a call the next day and be like, hey, Mr. Jones, I would love to earn your business. And if they've said, oh, it's too expensive or whatever it is, like, what price does it need to be at for us to, do business with you? Right. If you do that, like, at your age, if you've created the connection in person with them already, you're going to close like a massive amount of them, and you'll be
Yeah.
amazed at how like little they'll come down on price. If price,
Okay.
like, you can use that close only if price is the issue. But
Yeah.
at this point where you're at, your overhead's so low, you're at home,
Yeah.
all the rest of it, you need to get work, right? And you get the
Yeah.
momentum flowing so that you can go
Right.
hire somebody.
All right. Yeah. So I can do that. Should I do it right now, even if there's snow on the ground?
No,
You know?
snow on the ground doesn't. It's tough because, like, ideally, when you're walking up to someone's house, you
Yeah.
kind of see already the things that they need help on, and you can kind of
Right.
talk about those things.
Yeah.
And yeah, people just are not thinking about like even spring cleanups when there's snow on the ground. I would
Right.
say as soon as there's not snow on the ground, I'd start doing door to door. Door hanger if they're not home, knock if they open. Just introduce yourself. If that leads to an estimate, or if you're able to mention the tree out front that's touching the house, asking if you want what they want an estimate for trimming that off. That's when it becomes interesting to me in terms of once the snow is gone. And then
Right.
obviously going into mowing season, the same thing can be said.
Okay. All right. I'll definitely do that. And then what types of jobs do you think, like, what is the majority of my revenue going to be if I'm getting more and more customers? Do you think it'll be the maintenance lawn care, or do you think I'll hit that 200 mark by doing a lot more landscaping, bush trimming, mulch?
It's really your decision, right? Like, honestly, what I would do if I was you is focus on the recurring in terms of like your door hangers. I'd focus on spring cleanups for the, as soon as the snow's gone, focus on spring cleanups for like a month. And
Yeah.
then as soon as mowing season starts, I'd be doing the same thing for mowing, right? And then what's going to happen is just natively people that you get mowing service for, they're going to ask for landscaping, or you're going to show up and talk to someone about mowing and they're like, hey, well, would you also install mulch over here? And so that conversation from mowing to landscape or maintenance to project-based work is usually pretty smooth for an existing customer, right? You want to go
Yeah.
after the kind of the gateway service though, and that's going to be mowing, property cleanups, what most people need. And then if they
Yeah.
need other things, they'll usually come to you then.
Okay. And how should I sell that? Because I had the 75 customers, and last year I did, maybe less than 5K in landscaping. COVID was around, but I never tried to sell it. I had a couple customers, 75, it's not too many. I'm not going to have 20 to 50 people asking me to do landscaping jobs, maybe 10 to 15.
So did you say you had 75 mowing customers last year?
Yep. Yeah.
So, okay, got it. So I really think that with literally without changing hardly any in terms of number of customers, you could double your revenue just if you focused on upselling your existing customers. The
Okay.
reason I say
So,
that, go ahead.
so no walk behind. Should I have a crew go out there? Should I have a crew and then pay them hourly, or pay them P for P? Should I have one crew, one guy with that truck and trailer? What do you think? How should the setup be?
Well, like what's going to happen first is your first employee is probably going to work with you mostly, right?
Okay.
The thing is, you already have the 2 trucks, like you've already bought that one, so it almost makes sense to just use the asset.
Yeah.
That being said, if you're sending out a solo guy, your first employee, he needs to be on P4P. Otherwise, like you don't know what he's doing.
Right.
So yeah, like I would say your first employee, you're not gonna go hire 2 people. But what's nice with 2 trucks, you can technically get to 3 employees before you need to get another one, right? You can get 1 employee, he goes out and goes solo. You're doing some lawns and doing estimates, and then he's doing lawns all day. Then you get a second employee, you throw him in with that other person. There's a 2-person crew. Then
Mhm.
technically you could train your third person with you for half days before you actually need to go get in a truck.
Okay.
And the reason I say is because like too many people buy the trucks too quickly,
Yeah.
and like when really the hires is what actually brings you more revenue,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I needed another truck because that the truck that I have right now has 200,000 miles, man. It's going. I needed
yeah,
something,
and you'll
and it
need
was
it.
only 2,800. It was cheap.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's really
yeah.
good.
Right.
So like you'll need it though. Like this year, if you're gonna grow substantially, you will need a second truck to get to 150. But the kind of the
Yeah.
point that I'm making there is, to get your customers that are mowing to even know that you do landscaping, you've got to stay in touch with them, right? So
Okay.
like,
Well,
do you use a service autopilot? What do you use? Like, what do you use like
yeah, I
for your
use
CRM?
Yardbooks, but I know how to use a email marketing system. Like I could use Klaviyo or Klaviyo. I
Yep,
could definitely do that.
yep. Mailchimp. There's a whole bunch out
Right.
there. And the goal there is just to make sure they know about those other services, and that's what the
Right.
monthly one-click estimate or newsletter or whatever is trying to help them do, and just to know that you do those services. Because
Yeah.
last year you had $1,000 per customer for the year, right?
Right. Yeah.
The goal is to get that above 2,000, and you can definitely do that through literally, hey, we're going to pitch spring cleanups to all 75 of these people. Like as soon as the snow's gone, I'd be sending them all your 75 people an email. I guarantee you get 15 to 20 of them on a spring
Okay. Yeah.
cleanup.
Yeah. Yeah. I
um
definitely get it. But what I did last year was when I sent them the customer agreement, they could check off if they wanted a spring cleanup, a bush trim, and a mulch, and then I would give them an estimate on it. So I mean,
do you
that
charge per cut? Do you charge per cut right now, right?
yeah, per cut.
So why don't you just have a start time where do you send them a new agreement every year?
Yeah, that's I don't. Yeah, do you think I should do that still?
Well, the problem with that is you're basically sending them an agreement at the beginning of the year and asking what services they want for the whole year. The problem with that is there's no pain. Like when you send them that agreement, there's no leaves on the ground for them to think
Right.
about fall cleanups,
Yeah,
right?
you're
So
right.
the goal with with the emails every month is to pinpoint their pain
Got it.
based upon your climate, right? And
Okay.
so I would say, hey, look, I'm charging per cut, and you don't have to sign an agreement. You don't have to do anything like that. I'm just going to start you when we start our mowing season in April or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and then you're going to every single month send them a different service based upon the time of year.
Okay. All right. Yeah, absolutely. I can do that. Um,
And you'll send those emails to your non-clients as well, like people in your database that aren't mowing customers, because you probably
right.
have, I imagine, 100, 200 other, contacts in your database. And
Maybe
so,
100. Yeah,
yeah, so
there's
like
not
if
too many.
you, yeah, so if you have those will eventually become, if you keep them warm, they'll eventually become a customer again. Like the other day at the
Right.
Bellingham shop, they had someone from 2017 that we did work for last, all of a sudden become a customer again, right?
Yeah.
Like we're literally talking about 4 years of just staying in touch with them, keeping them warm, and they just click a button, right? So
Yep.
the goal is to keep that alive, and that's how you're gonna get more landscaping jobs, is just hitting their pain points. Like if you do the agreement, they're not thinking about an outdoor, landscaped area for their summer barbecue, right? Because
Yeah.
they just had snow on the ground. So the
Yep.
goal is to hit them during their pain point.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that. Uh, so I should go out there well, not by myself, have an employee with me. You're saying, once it's 50 degrees out, once the snow is off the ground, go knock on doors, go drop off the door hangers. Once the grass starts growing, I've already contacted 2 people. Then they've cut grass before. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or bad because they're not going to do it like we do it. But uh, how should I go about it? So you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, so what I would do in terms of ramping up for that first employee is I would make sure you sell enough spring cleanups to book your schedule out for like a week or two,
Uh-huh.
and then you go hire someone because you're going to get
All right.
momentum, right? So right now, if you went and hired someone, half their time would probably be spent just doing door hangers and things, and you can't really
Oh,
afford that right now.
I wouldn't want them to do that. Yeah, I would
Right.
hire them only when I have the work.
Yep. So
Okay.
like, if you went out and you did the one-click estimate email, or you didn't email to all your 75 people and
Yeah.
got, 5, 10 cleanups on the schedule, you hire that person in. The reason I'd say that they should work with you is really for training aspects before they go solo, right? Like
Right.
even if they're a good worker and all the rest of it, like you want them to develop, certain habits, certain skill set. Even if they're on P4P, you still will probably want to train them for a while, and they're going to be kind of your cultural standard in terms
Mhm.
of work ethic and speed and all the rest of it. So, the second employee will usually default to what the first employee's standards are. So you
Right.
want that first person to be pretty solid. So like, especially when you have like a couple trucks, how I kind of like to do it, like they come work with you in the truck for like a week, for example, kind of
Uh-huh.
get to know the hang of everything, how you roll, what your speed implications are. Then they go out in that second truck. And then when you get your second hire, they're going to start with you in your truck. So again, you kind of set the standard. Then you kick them off into the other person's truck, and then that 2-man crew.
And then how does the P4P work with 2 people?
You just split it in half. So there's
Split in half.
definitely going to be a drop in kind of like their hourly rate, but usually there's a balance, right? Because like sometimes they like it for morale and all the rest of it, but you just split in half. So for example, if they earn $500 solo, and they make a percentage of that, but then if they do 2 people together, they might make 900, and they're gonna $450 each, right? In terms of
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So what types of things do you think I should be doing right now? Just creating the door hanger, creating the email pieces that I should be sending out during the season.
Yeah, like right now you have the time, right? So I
Yeah.
definitely, if you can, and if you know it gets crazy in the summer, I would, like you said, create the emails now. Okay, so for example, like when do you guys start mowing usually?
Early April.
Okay, so I'd imagine like March is kind of your time, is assuming that there's no snow, you spring cleanups.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I would do right now, like in the next while there's still snow on the ground, I'd be creating those emails for the whole year based
Okay.
upon when certain services are needed. I would get the door hangers ready. I would really get everything ready to go for two. You kind of have 2 different phases. March, all of your door hangers and door knocking should be bush trimming and spring cleanups, right? Like you're literally, as you're walking down the driveway, kind of like looking for what needs to be done, so you can talk to them about it, and then you're going to pivot in April directly to mowing, right? So
Right.
I think you only have a couple more weeks till really it's going to be go time for
Yeah.
spring cleanups. And so in that time, I would be focusing on, if you just got a truck, like get all that dialed in, get all that stuff taken care of, so
Right.
that come March you can really focus on spring cleanups. Because if you really start to sell like 2 or 3 a day via door to door, you should be able to go out and hire someone, then get them
Yeah.
up and trained before April when you actually start mowing.
Okay.
When
All right.
when they could go in the second truck and actually start mowing separately from you.
Right. Okay. So yeah. All right. Kind of makes sense. So yeah, so I'll work with them during the spring cleanups, and then they'll understand my standards. And then, but they're gonna cut with me. I'm gonna cut the 75 accounts, and then once we're done cutting the accounts, he's gonna come with me to try to get more work, or should I have work already? Like
Yeah, well,
I'm just not. I'm not gonna think. I don't think I'm gonna get as much work like that. I've never actually tried to though, so I'm not sure how much work I'll actually receive off knocking on doors.
Well, if you're actually going to be, doing it
Yeah.
like a part-time job, almost like 3 or
No,
4
full
hours
time.
a day. Yeah, I mean the door hangers and the knocking on doors,
Yeah. What else do I have to do?
right? Yeah, because I'm just saying, like, if you're working, right? Like, so if you're working doing
Yeah.
spring cleanup, and then you're doing it, a few hours after and all the rest of it.
Uh-huh.
If you're doing that much door knocking, you should be able to get
Okay.
a couple leads a day, right?
Right.
And if you're really diligent on closing every single one, using the close technique of saying, hey, what price needs to work for you? I want to do business. What can I do to earn your business?
Yeah.
I don't suggest that at any other stage, but when you're solo and when you're just trying to get momentum at the very beginning, right?
Uh-huh.
It's the only time you'd ever use that close. But if you're doing that, I
Yeah.
really feel like you'll be able to fill your schedule pretty quickly. And then
Uh-huh.
the goal then is, okay, the 75 mowing customers, that first employee, ideally they are mowing, all day long and they get all the 75 done. You're out
Okay.
still doing doors, you're getting more jobs from that, you're filling the schedule, and like really you probably end up, especially the spring, your second truck for you end up being like the cleanups and project kind of truck, and
Got it.
the employee would be the mowing truck, right?
Got it.
Because
Okay.
going door to door, you're gonna be able to fill your schedule much faster with cleanups. Because when
Right.
you go to a house and say, hey, yeah, you want something done, okay, that's like 2 days worth of work. If you
Yeah.
sell 5 mowing customers in the day, that's like literally a couple hours worth of work, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of booking your schedule out, you'll do that very quickly if you're door knocking, if you're talking to people, and then if you're really diligent about once you send the estimate, following up with them and using that close.
Okay. All right. Yeah, absolutely. All right. All makes sense. And then, yeah, I mean, that's it really, you know. What
So
else do you think I
right,
should know? Yeah.
no, I was just looking at your website.
Yeah.
So looks good. Did you make this one?
Yeah.
Good work, man.
Thank you. I've tried a couple of drop shipping stores on Shopify, so I kind of understand how to make it user friendly and, not put too many colors in and clear call to action.
When did you have this done?
I
Like
just did it
finish the
like
website?
a couple of days ago.
Cool. No, this alone will really help you this year.
Right. And then you can put the pixel on there once, there's some more revenue and you can create, I haven't watched your video on the Facebook ads, but are you just targeting like landscape services, lawn care services, and then you have the pixel behind on the thank you page after the estimate, so you can see the people who actually purchased or went through, and then create lookalikes from that?
Yeah, like we target based on age, in our target market, right? In terms of
Right.
Facebook ads,
Yeah.
and then we will send them to a landing page so that we know whoever comes from that landing page
Yeah.
was from that ad, right?
Right.
And so in my mind, it's even better than a pixel, just because I know all I really care about is leads. I care about how many people actually submitted their information.
Yeah.
And so definitely you could set up a pixel though on Facebook ads. Honestly though, in terms of looking at what you have in cash, I would be saying like the door knocking and the door hangers is probably where you want to start, right?
Okay.
And the Facebook would be fine for some like brand awareness and things, but you don't have enough money to really move the needle a lot on Facebook,
Got
right?
it. Yeah.
And so I would take, the 500, get a ton of door hangers. I'd be doing lots of door knocking. I do 2 different types of door hangers, one for spring cleanups, one for mowing. And if you're okay with talking to people and knocking on their door, which most people aren't,
Yeah,
you
I
have
am.
a huge leg up in terms of your close percentage, right? Like if you
Right.
do 1,000 door hangers, you'd be lucky to get 3 or 4 calls. Whereas if you do 100 knocking on doors and talking to people, you
Right.
probably will get one job from that. Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yep. Keep going. Well,
Especially if you're creative with just like the way you're walking the door, looking what they need in terms of spring cleanup. And then when it comes to mowing season, you're literally just looking at, okay, is the lawn overgrown? Okay, this is a great candidate.
Right. Okay, absolutely. So what's a successful season looking like for me this year?
Yeah, like given your cash on hand, you've already bought the truck. Is the truck paid off?
Of course. Yes.
Okay, cool. So you have everything paid off. I
Yep.
wouldn't buy any more equipment. I hereby tell you to not buy equipment.
Yeah, no more equipment. All right.
No
What
walk
about,
behind
I only
needed.
have one blower though.
Okay, well you need a blower. But
I
I'm
need another
talking like
blower.
I'm
Yeah.
talking like trucks and mowers, honestly, like a stand on, you don't need it, right? You
Yeah.
got a walk behind. You got 2 stand ons. Are they pretty decent or they falling apart?
One has 300 hours. The other one has a replacement mower with 2,500 hours. Like it's not, it doesn't cut it's a backup.
Yep. The 300-hour one, did you buy that one new?
I did 3,200. Well, no,
Okay.
not new. I bought it with like 250 hours.
Got it.
I just bought it last year. Yeah.
From a dealer?
No,
How much did that cost?
3,200.
Cool. What is it? Like what brand?
It's a 48R John Deere stand-on
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I know
with the
exactly.
Kawasaki, and then
Cool.
I have a 52 R John Deere stand-on, both the same mower.
And the
But
52 is the one with a ton of hours, right?
correct. And
Gotcha.
at the end of the season last year, when I was doing the cleanups, it was leaking a little bit of oil through the oil filter. So I'm not sure if there's a larger problem or it was just the oil filter seal.
Well, this is the thing. Do you go by Alex or Alexander?
I go by Alex. My dad calls me Alexander.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is this, with your average mow price being $25 and you have
I think I
small,
could get it to 27.
really? Yeah.
I think I could close by 27.
But based upon that, I would imagine that you have pretty small lot sizes, right? You said that everyone's pretty close together.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't think you even need walk behinds and stand-ons. If I was
Okay.
you, I'd be going the push mower route. Because like, our average in our market's around $45, $50 per cut, and we still
Yeah.
use push mowers only.
Okay. And then how do I tell the people who have worked at other places that, I've been sitting all day on the zero turns to walk to cut with the walk behind? Because I know if I went to a company and they said, well, I cut, and then I went to this company and they were push mowing it, and I'm like, are you serious? It was, but it wasn't P for P, and I wasn't making $22 an hour. I was making like 14.
That's the difference right there, right? Like,
Okay.
that's going to be the difference, is their ability to make more on P for P. And that's why it's so important that they are making above base pay. Like, you can't be like, they can't be working harder and making the same amount as if they would work somewhere else, right?
Got
And
it,
so, but if they can make $4, $5, $6 more per hour, it makes a lot of sense for them, right? And
Right.
so that's the thing I'd be thinking about.
Okay. And then I said it was $25 and it would take 20 minutes to cut those houses. That's with the commercial. That's maybe not. I think probably it could get done in 20 minutes with a push mow.
It'd be a push mower. It'd be a commercial push mower, obviously, right? But like,
right. I have it's a residential, but it's kind of like it's the Time Master, but you have the Toro ones, right?
We have the Exmark 30s.
Oh, okay.
But like, honestly, with the size of lots that you're talking about, 21 inches mowers would work fine.
Okay.
Like until last year, we were using 21 inches, right?
Right. So I won't have to use them. I won't have to use.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. Like, if you say $1,200 for a Honda, commercial push mower, right? Versus say $6,000 for a stand-on or a walk behind new, right?
Yeah.
That differential, the $3 or $4 grand, if you spent that in advertising, that's what's going to lead to the growth of the business. Okay. Getting the piece of equipment won't move the actual business forward. It will make things easier on the employees, and you do have to compensate for that in the fact that P for P should be making them more money, right? They are working harder. It's harder on their body, but if they want to make $5, $6, $7 more per hour compared to everyone else in your local competitors, that becomes a real discussion for a younger person that's looking to make money.
Okay. All right. So let the guy use the John Deere this year when he's out there cutting, and then I'm doing landscaping jobs. He's out there cutting. I'm receiving this revenue, right? How am I going to throw the money into marketing during the season? Would I be working consistently after I'm doing those? After I've done the door hangers, and then after I've done the knocking on doors, and I booked up my schedule for a couple of weeks, the work I feel like it's going to run out.
Yeah, but the reason you feel that way is because you kind of had 2 years of plateaued growth, right? Like,
I haven't tried to even grow it at all. I was just the first year I had to pay it all back. It was bad. I was completely broke. Last year, it was the first feel for actual money coming in and the relief. Like, it was actually worth it to do that and be broke for a year. And then this year, and last year with the coronavirus, it wasn't cool to go and knock on doors. People were scared. So this year, I actually want to put the foot on the gas 100%. My work ethic I feel like it's above average. So you tell me what to do, and I'm gonna do it 100%.
Like, I think honestly, if you did nothing besides do door hangers only, you double this year. The reason for that
Okay.
because you have the website,
Yeah.
and now you're actually trying to grow.
Yeah.
But a couple things on your website. I'm gonna share my
Yep.
screen.
Yeah.
You want to make it clear in terms of what areas you service. So
Okay.
when I come to this page, everything looks
Yeah.
good, besides the fact that I don't know where you are, like the regions. Is that the actual place you're servicing?
No. Yeah, absolutely. I can put if you scroll up, I can put it under the phone number down there. Or I could probably put it in the header where we
Yep.
service. Yeah,
Yeah,
good
or
call.
you either do like a badge or do something underneath your phone number, exactly like serving X, Y, and Z locations, right?
Got it. Yeah.
Um, just so there's some clarity there. But like this is great. You'll do good on this. But the reason that, like, in terms of, like I was saying, like you plateaued the past 2 years, this year, what's gonna happen if you actually commit to, okay, March, I'm selling spring cleanups, you're going to fill your schedule and someone else's very quickly. Then
Okay.
we switch to April, we really go all in on the mowing, and we're trying to go from 75 to 125 mowing customers, right?
Got it.
So
Yeah.
we need 50 mowing customers in the month of April, and so that means we need to get about 2 per day.
Okay.
Okay, which is not
Yeah.
easy. That's a
Right.
lot of door hangers, a lot of knocking, but that's your window of time. That's your 1 month. You've got to go
Right.
all in on mowing and get the 50 people. And you're only gonna be able to do that if you have another person mowing the lawns all day long. Now, at the end of April, you should have a 50-person route. They should have a 75-person route. And now you're upselling every single month landscaping jobs.
Okay. And then one person, they should be doing the 75, and then I'll have the 50.
In my mind, yes, because if 75 divided by 5, they're looking at maybe 10 to 12 lawns a day. It's
Yeah.
because some of them are probably biweekly. So 10 to 12 a day. That's easy, especially these smaller lots. Like, it's very, very possible to do 75 in a week, especially if
Okay.
your average is that low.
Absolutely. So when I have the 50 and then I'm upselling like bush trimming and, mulch. Well, yeah, mulch. I'm doing the mulch by myself.
Yep. So, like, let's say, for example, right now we are in February. So as soon as the snow is gone, I'd be
Yeah.
doing spring cleanups.
Okay.
And then we got March. I'd be doing a different spring cleanups one, but it'd be just like different pictures, a different call to action. So for example, in February, it's going to be like springers around the corner, get ready kind of thing. March is going to be like the snow's gone, um, clean up your leaves, pull the weeds out of your beds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And like, sorry to cut you off. This is being recorded. Are you going to send this to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay, cool. All right.
I'm writing it down too. April and May are going to be your mow, where
Okay.
you're going to pitch mowing, right?
Yep.
And you're not going to pitch on those months. You're not going to pitch mowing to your existing mowing customers. You're only going to pitch it to the people who don't have mowing, right? So
Yeah.
on those months, for the people who do have mowing, you're going to pitch something like mulch, installation of mulch.
Got it. Got it. What? So they're going to be doing the 75, and I'm going to just, I shouldn't have another employee.
You're going
with
to end
me?
up needing one. You're going to end up needing one.
Okay.
I'm going to guess by May 1st, you'd or throughout May, because now
Yeah.
you've got all these new mowing customers in April. Now you're getting these leads coming in from landscaping because you're actually doing a good job of communicating with the customers.
Yeah.
I really feel like middle of May, you'd need another employee.
Okay, let me send you my route sheet, and then I kind of made budgeted hours. Let me see, and then just to make sure I'm doing the math the right way when they're cutting, and I'm putting it in the P for P. Let me know
Okay.
when you get that.
Okay, I'm opening it up. Yep, I see your address and budgeted hours.
Okay, so say they cut 10 of those, right? Do the first 10 until 11.
I'll
West
share my
Windermere.
screen.
All right.
Okay, so these ones here.
Yeah. All right. So how would we do
So
the math?
your budget rate is $80 an hour.
That's what I put.
Okay,
And I
cool.
think it's doable. So let's shoot for 80, and it's probably going to end up being 65, 70.
Mm-hmm. So these first 10 is usually like a day's worth of work.
I mean, I feel like I could probably get down myself down to Royal, 1103 Royal. Those are all right next to each other, the Royal. So down to 15.
Yep.
So say I cut that.
Mhm.
It took me 9.5 hours. How would we put that into the P4P system? So let's go on
Okay.
the P4P website.
Well, we honestly don't even have to. This is
Okay.
really, really easy because there's no products or materials, right? So
Okay.
for example, I can't edit this.
Yeah, let me add it up real quick. Let's see.
Just do like equal sum.
Yep. It is 439.
Perfect. So 439, and then do you want to do a third of labor revenue going to an employee?
You tell me. What do you think? Should I do a third or?
That's kind of the standard we start with.
Yeah,
at
I know
$8 per hour, I think
Yeah.
you're gonna be fine. Like, what's your base pay?
Around here, you can get away with paying somebody $15 an hour. Like a foreman, right? The foremans would make $17 an hour. That's 17's like on the 18's on the high end. He has to be
Right.
an ace. Yeah.
So if you did $15 as your base, I think you'll be safe because let's say, for example, okay, so how much was this total again?
439. I think you have it up
Okay.
there too. Oh yeah, you see it, right?
I can't see 439.
Yeah, you can see it
I
because
see
I
what you
just
did.
edited it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Gotcha. Okay, so 439. So we divide that by 3. That's 100.
Oh, no, you did
and
439 divided
100.
by 3. Where's the 3 at? What's the 3 coming from? A third?
Oh, a third. Yep.
Okay.
So if you do that, it's 140. Can you do that for me? 439 divided by 3.
1 second. 146 and 33 cents.
146. Okay. How long would that route take you?
I'll just say 9.5 hours.
Okay, so if in that scenario, he's only going to make $146. And if he breaks down the math, he's really going to make like $15.20 an hour. It's not very
Okay,
good.
let's say if he hit the budgeted hours though, because I think that the budgeted hours there, he would make a lot more. I have to add them up.
Well, because the budget hours really doesn't matter when it comes to P4P because they get a percentage of the labor revenue, right? Now,
Right.
if the budget hours aren't accurate, that's what's going to lead to the issue. So, for example, when you add up all of these, he's only going to complete about six budgeted hours. So what that means is if he's taking 10 hours to do this, there's like 40% waste.
Right.
Or the jobs are taking longer than budgeted hours. Now, if you're confident on these budget hours, like these are accurate.
I'm not. I think somebody could hit them, but when I just said that it would take me 9.5 hours, that might have been way overkill. Because when I did the math originally, I was like, they're gonna make like $22 an hour. So maybe they get down to Frazo down there on 28 or 26.
Right. If that's the case, that's when they're making really good money on P4P, right? So the only way you know that is if these budget hours are actually accurate.
Okay, so what should I do? Start obviously timing each account and then adjusting the price after I've timed them.
Over time, right? Like over time, if you consistently see that, okay, this one's not taking 0.5 hours, it's taking 0.8 hours, regardless of how fast I'm running. That means that this price is too low, right? And so it really comes down to tracking, like you said, and then what is actually possible to get done in a day. Because if they can get all of these done in a day, that person's gonna probably be making like $22, $23 an hour. And so that's something you definitely want to, and again, what you should do is, unfortunately, you're going to be hiring someone before mowing season, but what you really should do if that wasn't the case is like run P4P in yourself, right? And if you can go back to last year, add up all the revenue made in like a specific day, because you have Yardbook, you can do this, go back to a day, it was like a full day, you did really well. Okay, add up all the revenue, divide it by 3. What would you have been getting on P4P? And then ask yourself, like, is that actually possible?
See, well, last year I had an employee. He was my best friend. I just paid him $500 salary a week. And then
Yep.
we finished. Well, no, not $500 salary a week. That was the first season. Second season, I paid him $15 an hour, and we finished the route in like 2.5 days, and he would get like 20 hours a week.
So what you can do though is like, say for example, if you guys knocked out X amount of properties, you take that revenue, divide it by 2, and then you'd have the amount per person. Then you'd be able to know, okay, like, is this actually going to work when someone's solo?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because at $80 per hour for budgeted hours, or for
Mowing.
the rate,
Yeah.
like there's no reason why someone shouldn't be able to make $20+ an hour on P4P. If they can't, if like a good day they're still only making like 14 or 15, your budget hours are off.
Okay.
Or
And then
you have a huge amount of drive time.
There's a lot of drive time on that route, on the first couple houses on the route. So I'll try to fill in that. I'll try to fill in the route where the drive times large, right?
And it's like economies of scale. Like as you get more mowing customers, you're not necessarily expanding how far out you're working. So what happens is like if you go from 75 mowing customers inside of the circle to now 150 mowing customers inside the circle, you immediately become half as much drive time, right?
Oh,
because
right. Yeah.
like you might go from here and drive all the way around for a route, but now you only have to go here to get the same amount of mowing customers, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
You've kind of got your territory, kind of like where you want to work. Everything
Right.
that's inside of that now becomes much more efficient.
Right. Okay. Definitely. All right. What else? Yeah, so I'll just review this. But yeah, you kind of gave me a game plan. You answered my questions. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. So for March, sell the cleanups, go all in, knock on doors, the door hangers if they don't answer. And then I should have enough work for the cleanups, have my guy come in, bust my butt with him so he can see the standard that I have, so he can understand the culture of the company, of, you know, the premium standard and working hard. He'll go out there. We're not going to cut together ever.
I would say like his first week or two, you might have to just to kind of train him up, depending on how much experience they have. But the goal is to get them out running in the mowing route themselves. So that way you can focus on continually selling, as well as you're going to still be working. It's just that when you're out doing your 50 lawns, you're also doing door hangers, talking to the neighbors, trying to upsell your current customers on mulch, all the rest of it.
Okay, and then I have the 2 guys. I talked to 2 guys from Facebook applications. I had people come in. One of the guys, he has cut before. He says he has some type of like mental health issues, so that could be a reason he wouldn't come in. He says like he's a hard worker. You never know. And then, but there's another guy who has done landscaping, lots of landscaping for big companies, but has never cut grass before. What do I have to just go with my gut on who I think I should have with me, or would you pick the person who's cut grass before?
It really depends the way you want to take the company, right? Like if you want to focus on the simple services and things like that, especially like this coming year, most of the value in having an employee is going to be in mowing, honestly. And so to bring in a big landscaper type person, they're going to probably feel disenfranchised because like you're not going to be installing $50,000 paver patios, right? So that might not be a good option. In terms of the other person, the fact that they brought that part up is actually a good sign, usually, because they're at least honest about it. But it's definitely something you would need to keep in check, because like if in the middle of the busiest season they're like, I just can't get out of bed, then you're gonna have a problem, right? So it's something to keep in mind. But the fact that they brought it up is also a good thing. It's just that you'd probably need a backup, and that's tough when you have one employee, because so much is relying on them showing up.
So what's like the worst case scenario that could happen this year if I, was pushing it? I lose my employee, and then I just have to go all out and try to find another guy to come and cut with me as fast as possible.
It's a good problem to have, honestly. The reason is because at your size, you're able to control that first employee. Like it's easy to manage them. because they're going to see you every single day. You're going to know where they're at all the time. You've trained them personally. So it's easier to manage that first employee. Like first employees are actually pretty easy to find. It's like
Right.
fifth and sixth employees that are hard because they're not seeing you all the time. You're not on every one of their jobs, etc.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't worry about that too much because at the end of the day, if you were like just dying because in the middle of the spring rush, 2 of your employees left and you're stuck, you could go out and you go hire someone for $20 an hour. You get a ton of applications, you get good people right away. You wouldn't be able to afford that base pay, but you would just get the work done while you go out and try to find someone. Like, so like, I wouldn't overthink that part too much. At the very end of the day, if you're running a good business and you can afford to pay someone short term a lot of money to kind of fill in the gaps, you're okay. But that being said, if you're hiring or interviewing people throughout the next 2 or 3 months, you should be able to find 1 or 2 good people.
Okay. And then for the landscaping jobs that I'm going to do, you said don't buy any more equipment. What about a trailer?
I would definitely buy a trailer before I would buy a walk behind.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to cleanups and things like that. However, I would allow the demand of the work to warrant buying the trailer. I wouldn't go buy a trailer now in expectation of getting more landscaping jobs. I would wait until, okay, I had the mulch guys bring me 2 deliveries this week because I didn't have a trailer. I had to take 4 loads to the dump instead of 1 because I didn't have a trailer. Like when that starts happening all the time, that's when you go buy the trailer. Right? Until then, put one of those tarp things on the back of your, bed of your truck that you can move debris out. That'll do 90% of cleanups. And then down the road, you can start thinking about like the trailer and investing in that.
Okay. And then during the year, the first revenue will be from the spring cleanups, but then after that, it doesn't matter because it's all based on budgeted hours, right? The type of services, do you just kill it on bush trimming, or do you kill it on mulch, or is it just, what for your experience?
The goal is to build your recurring revenue with the mowing, right? And that's going to be a slow build. And then every single month, we're trying to sell a different service based upon what service is in season, right?
Okay.
And so you're going to go from, like I said, in February and March, you're doing spring cleanups, to April and May, you're doing mowing and then / bark mulch. Then we come into June, it's like, okay, time to do let's do fertilization. Then in July, it's like, okay, projects, because now it's dry. Like all of that, it's just every single month trying to keep selling the person.
Got it. Thank you so much. I think that's it on the time. Anything else you think I should know?
No, I think that's really good. I just say, your website alone is going to help you a lot. That's going to build you a lot of just value to the customer in terms of selling. If you can do the door-to-door thing, I'd really, really recommend it. No, don't come across salesy when you come to the door. It's more or less introducing yourself. And then when you do the estimate, just keep in your mind, you want to close every single one of those unless you're booked out a week or 2, right? Until you're booked out a week or 2, you want to close every job. And if that means you got to give them 20% off because they said it was too expensive, do it, right? So I would be doing those estimates. The next day I'd be calling them and saying, hey, just following up. Did you get my estimate? Yeah, it's a little too expensive. You know what, Mr. Jones, I'd love to earn your business. What can we do to make this work? What price does it need to be at? And if they've met you, they've seen you're a young guy trying to get started, they're not going to go 10%, right? They're going to usually
they're not going to try to cut me in half. Yeah.
Right. So I'd get those jobs, get that momentum, get that first employee in, and then that momentum will build, right? Like buying a trailer is no problem when you have 2 employees working full time. You're stretched thin to the max. And you're like, okay, this is like an easy purchase. Like I know I have the work coming in. I'm booked 2 or 3 weeks out with projects. Like that's when you have the momentum to go buy the equipment. And I think you're gonna get there 100%.
Okay. All right.
I think the goal for 2021 should really be at least 150, at least doubling.
150. Okay. All right. 150, and then I'll probably book another call mid-season to check in and get some more advice.
That sounds good.
All right, and then I got one question for your landscaping course. Because I was in the drop shipping game for a while, there were a bunch of kids killing it from selling courses.
Yep.
How well do you do selling your courses? Like with your YouTube videos, I think what you should do is focus on creating making the people watch the whole thing, right? There was this one video that I watched. I'll send it to you. He grew his YouTube channel 1 million subscribers in a year, but it was all based on strategy with the videos, right? And he would hook them in the first couple seconds and then show a sneak peek of what they're going to see, right? And then they keep on watching more and more and more. And I think if you if you do that, you're going to grow in the lawn care niche, you know, like Brian's killing it because of, you know, right? But you have the value, right? You have the value, and you just need a couple viral videos like that. And then I think your course sales will skyrocket. And that's where crazy money is, because there's so much profit on, you know, having and then I think you could double the price. I'm not sure, but I bought a course for $2,000 for drop shipping. I'm not sure about the market where people are buying courses for the lawn care. I don't know if somebody would drop $1,000 on it, but have you ever played with the price?
So two things.
Yep.
First of all, we're trying to do better at the video thing. I got a new video.
Yeah, I know you
here.
are, and it's
We're
looking
trying
good.
to start fiddling with a few things.
It's looking good.
The other thing is, though, in terms of the course, I hate selling courses. Hate it.
Why though?
Passion.
Why? It's money. Don't. People say that too. People who actually make money in drop shipping, they're like, I'm not going to sell a course. I say, yeah, I get it, but it's money. You're just being a capitalist.
Yeah, no, I agree. The problem with it is it's the perception that there is so many, like with drop shipping, especially with course, social media.
You're thinking about that because you don't think, well, your course has the value. Your course, the $2,000 course that I bought, had a quarter of the information on drop shipping, and like for lawn care, like it wasn't even compared to it. So don't feel bad just selling the course. You need to embrace it like that. You can kill it by selling courses. Like, I don't know if you want to tell me, but like, do you sell like a course a week or?
No, it's usually one or so it's accelerated the past like 6 months, right? So like it used to be like I share my numbers every month. But in terms of actual course numbers, it used to be like 2 or 3 a week, or 1 or 2 a week, and now it's more like 1 a day almost.
Right. So, 1 a day? Oh, yeah, that's like, good. Yeah.
Part of it though is like I want to make it accessible for people just starting out, because like the course is really for newbies, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like if it was $2,000, for example, I would tell someone, don't buy the course, go do door hangers with the $2,000.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And so for me, it's like I have to justify the value of it. And like, would I spend that much money? And to me, like, yes, I would, especially for like the P4P software and things.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, $500. I think it's definitely worth it, because if you're going in there and you have no idea what you're doing, the $500, it's worth it. Just so you can see there's kind of like a game plan, you know, there's a definite game plan where you can say, all right, I need to do this, this, and this, and this. Because if I never had it, and if I never watch any YouTube videos, I would have no idea what I'm doing. You just kind of
did you kind of do that recently then, and kind of that's the goal for kind of growth next year?
Yeah, that's what I did. And then have you ran ads for your course?
No.
Why not?
No, I'm not going to. I don't want to make money on the course. I don't like, my thing is I don't want to make money from selling information. I want to build businesses, right? Like it is true. I get what you're saying.
It's too easy though. It's too easy. That's what it is.
I just think there's a lot of predatory courses out there. There's a lot of people selling information that is just recycled. And I do not want to be lumped into that. Like I hate, like if I ever had something public, like I know it sounds really lame. I don't really care what people think, but the one thing I would probably like just shut the whole course down is someone like went and made some sort of post and said like, the only reason I make money is because of my online. I just shut it down.
Yeah. See, just don't watch the video. Just don't watch the video. If you ever see the title, just don't watch it. That's what you gotta do, man. Who cares, you know?
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.